If you're new to home ownership or you've been around the block a time or two, we need to talk about how much money you have in your emergency fund and what we can do to protect you. My name is Andrew Finney and my passion is helping you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent near you, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. All right, my friend, let's talk about the importance of having an emergency fund for your home. And I know that if you just closed on your home and you're new to home ownership, you might be thinking, Andrew, I spent so much money between my down payment, borrowed closing costs, moving costs, getting into my home, and now you're talking about an emergency fund. Yeah, I am. And here's why. Shortly after I bought my first home here in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2012, in 2013, I hadn't even been in the house a year and my roof went out. And I mean, I was playing like Jed Clampett up in the attic trying to keep water from getting into my house. It was that bad. So what I found myself doing is having to contact different contractors that come out, work with their schedule, and get my roof hopefully fixed. Well, what happened is they actually had to do what was called a full roof replacement, and it set me back a cool $10,000 at the time in 2013. It was something I hadn't planned on. It wasn't something I had forecast, and when the time came, I had to go quickly over to my credit union to see if I could get some type of a loan to pay for the roofing costs to replace the roof on my home. I don't want that to happen to you, so let's talk about 4 ways to consider how much money you should have in your emergency fund. The first thing that we need to take a look at is the age of your home. If we're taking a look at the age of the home, a good rule of thumb is about $200 to $500 per year for the age of your house. So if your home is 50 years old, you should have anywhere between $10,000 and $25,000 saved up in your emergency fund. Now that's a pretty big spread, so it really depends on you and your comfort level at night. We want to make sure that you have peace of mind whenever you lay your head down to rest in your new home, to make sure that you have the money on hand. So you might be thinking, Andrew, you know, $10,000 is a lot, and you're talking about maybe as much as $25,000. The ultimate amount really depends on what's comfortable to you. Remember a moment ago whenever I shared with you what happened to me, my roof cost me $10,000. But what happens if something else went out? That's why I'm saying maybe a little bit more than that is a good idea. If you're wondering if this is an amount of money you need to be saving every single year, it's not. It's the amount of money that you want to save into a fund dedicated to your emergency fund just for your home. So once you build it up, you can use it and maintain it any way that you see fit. The second thing is to consider any do-it-yourself projects that you can tackle. When we're talking about that, some things really come to mind. You can change a light bulb in your house, and you can probably also change a little dauber thing in your toilet. You know that thing that you flush and it lets the water in and gets out all the number 1 or number 2? Yeah, that thing. Those are kind of do-it-yourself projects that are pretty easy to do and it's quick to learn. Just like you're learning about this right now on YouTube, YouTube has a lot of other creators that specialize in do-it-yourself type videos, or how to fix that or how to fix this. Watch those videos and learn how to do as many do-it-yourself projects as you can that you're realistically comfortable with. Keeping in mind there comes a time when you need to consider hiring a handyman or hiring a licensed contractor for a specific job in your home. Be sure that you're honest with yourself about what kind of projects you're reasonably able to tackle and that you're comfortable with doing, and when the time comes to hire a handyman or a contractor. The third thing to consider is, how's the weather out there? Now you might be wondering, what does the weather have to do with an emergency fund? Turns out quite a bit. Here's why. Consider your HVAC system. Your HVAC system is your heating and cooling system, right? If you're in certain parts of the country where it's like super cold, then it's probably gonna be an issue with the furnace that will go out when you least want it to go out, in the dead cold of winter. So you wanna make sure that you're maintaining that and you have the money set aside for that depending on the weather. Obviously, the colder it is, the harder a furnace has to work, and that's when they become most prone to breaking. On the flip side of that, in the hotter states like Las Vegas, Nevada, we have air conditioning, and our air conditioning has to work extremely hard in the 115-degree weather to keep our homes nice and temperate. So here's another true story. In 2016, whenever I bought my second house here in Las Vegas, Nevada, what happened? A month after closing, the AC went out. And I mean, I had to replace 2 honking units a month after I closed. It didn't come up in the home inspection. It was working just fine. I was like, oh, this is great. I love the AC. It's nice and cool. It's hot outside, but it's cool inside, right? Well, it wasn't so cool about the time that my AC went out. So that was another $10,000, which goes back to when we're saying $200 to $500 per year of the age of the home. So if you have $10,000 saved up, it could wipe out your fund all at one time. Or if you save up to the $25,000 amount, then hey, guess what? You should be covered. Obviously, these suggestions for the amount of money you should have saved up are going to be in direct proportion to the kind of home that you have and the price range of the home that you purchased. The more expensive the home, obviously you probably want to take it up a bit. Now, the less expensive the home, maybe it's okay to take it down a bit. Maybe your AC doesn't cost $5,000 or $10,000 per unit. Maybe the AC on the size of the home that you have is going to cost $3,000 to replace. You can plug and play these numbers as you see fit. It's just an extremely wise idea to be prudent and save $10,000 to $25,000 for any kind of home maintenance items that could go out. And if you have it ready to go in your emergency fund, it's going to be there for you, as opposed to leaving you wondering and scratching your head where you're going to get the money. Speaking of that, let's go into the fourth thing, which is breaking down the cost. When we're talking about breaking down the cost, what I want you to do is to make a list of the various components in your house. Now, I did make a video with the 12 components of a home that go out all the time. That's probably going to be a very good video for you to check out after this one. So here's the thing. When we walk around our home, we can easily identify different things we're going to need to do. We have an HVAC system. We have a refrigerator. We have a stove, a garbage disposal. We have a water heater. We have different aspects of a home, roof, and even the floor. We need a plan for these things. So the best thing that we can do is break down how much it costs to replace each one of those items, and then you can also use that method to save the appropriate amount of money in your emergency fund. Now, this is something that you don't have to do like right overnight. You don't need to have $25,000. I mean, if you do have $25,000 for an emergency fund, rock on, make it happen. But if you don't have that money, just know this is something you should be building up towards as a goal for you to have that money on hand to properly maintain your home, so that we can ensure that you're okay and your home is okay moving forward. Planning for any unexpected eventuality that could happen. All right, my friends, so now that you have some different ideas about how to save up the money and how much money to save up, and even a way of knowing how much you should be having in your emergency fund, let's take a closer look at the 12-point checklist for the first week in your home and the 6 mistakes to avoid hiring a handyman. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'll see you in a few.